Man, I feel old every day. Shit. So anyways, we're gonna go find Jan, because Kyle wants to get his willy wet. I didn't miss those 2 shots at all. Yeah, it's like I was saying, too, like, things weren't very popular, things... Oh no, he's gonna tell me to die. And this is the part I was talking about earlier on in the video series, but I'll get into that when I get there. So, anywho, yeah, man, it was crazy. I remember, like, if you got caught with a Pokemon card, especially Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering cards, by a teacher, they would confiscate them, like, instantly, and they would say, oh, you're not allowed to touch that, it's satanic. I am not kidding, man. It was some crazy shit that I got subjected to when I was younger. And it's probably because of my rural upbringing, you know, but there was a time in my life where I got fucking blamed for a kid trying to commit suicide because he was just a poser. And it's also why I find people that trend chase to be unhealthy, is because of this exact moment. He basically copied me, downloaded a bunch of the music I listened to, which was like Slayer, Pantera, stuff like that, and Manson, and he picked the most edgy song names he could find, like Cake and Sodomy, Antichrist Superstar. He didn't actually listen to the music, he just wanted to have an edgy song on his iPod, because remember, having an iPod was like a status that you were a BAMF. But yeah, and his parents blamed me for, by the way, their shitty parenting and physical abuse on him, like, trying to commit suicide. He left a suicide note on our door. I was like 16, by the way, and like, we got home. This is one of the worst memories of my life, but I'm willing to share it because it's actually kind of awfully funny at the same time. So my family had, like, the one time, my family was really rocky, if it probably wasn't obvious. So they basically went to, like, dinner, and we never really went out to dinner very often because we were kind of poor and we didn't really, like, have a lot of spare time and stuff like that, you know? So we went to this, like, teppanyaki place downtown, which we never went to anywhere like that. And so we had, like, an actually good dinner, you know? We had a fun conversation. This was before my parents started divorcing, and it was a really good time. And we get back, and there's this... Oh, shit, it's choking me, Daddy! Oh, what the hell? This is a bad idea. I should not be in here right now. So yeah, we basically got back from dinner, and there's just this note on the door saying, it was literally, like, directly referencing the Kurt Cobain suicide letter, because this kid was edgy as hell. And basically, like, the exact same words that Cobain used were in the final, like, sentence, and this was, better to burn out than fade away. And his parents blame me for this, even though their son was physically abusive and verbally abusive to women. Excuse me. I'm actually gonna beat this son of a bitch, because I want to beat him for this now. Because that's not fair, man. But anyways, he basically tried to be as edgy as possible, and his parents blamed me for this, even though I had nothing to do with any of it. They literally said verbatim, your son's devilish rock and roll music and alt thinking are what caused our precious boy to commit suicide and fail. And I'm like, sure, man, sure. Fucking one shot, look at that. I told you Red Stance was dope. By the way, you can shoot TIE fighters. It has nothing to do with anything. I just wanted to point that out. That's all the only reason I went down here. Anyways, yeah, they blame me for it. And the whole entire community, as a whole, out in this little tiny rural town, became, like, hostile towards me. Already more than they were, because I had long hair. By the way, my hair was, like, down to, like, barely past my ear. Not even, I don't think my hair was that long yet, either. But according to them, that was just the devil's shit, you know? And so, when people... I had a situation at work arise. I can probably talk about this. One of our past managers was telling me, well, how would you feel if you... He was basically in the red, and I called him on his shit. And he said, oh, you wouldn't know what it's like to be, you know, people just do that. I'm like, I've been searched, I've been profiled. You haven't. Don't even try to start with me. I didn't say those exact words, but the actual feeling was definitely there. So when people try to act like, oh, I'm so edgy and crawling in my skin, I'm like, you know, cool. Like, you know, as I suck stormtroopers out, but see you guys, have a nice time. In the void of space, which, by the way, has no noise, you wouldn't hear anything. But yeah, man, it was bad. Like, I grew up in a very, very strict, like, area. It was really hard to be, like, if you wanted to be a punk, and they didn't call you a punk endearingly, by the way. They called you a punk as in, oh, that damn punk. Like, that's how they said it. They didn't say it like, oh, you like punk? Oh, cool, I love punk. They'd say, that damn punk of yours. Like, sorry, that's not Southern Oregon. Damn punk of yours. It was a very, very, very awful experience, and I don't think it shaped me into a worse person, but it definitely made me really angry against people that try to tell people what to do and what to think based on just what they assume. Because all these weird things, like, if you listen to rap, you're a gangster and you wanted to be, you know, go to Detroit, and we got called all sorts of shit if you listen to rap over there. But obviously that lessened when we got into, like, middle school and high school, where you start fleshing out more, obviously, but yeah, it was fucking brutal. Like, nowadays kids don't even have close to that sort of shit because there's a lot more protective barriers against these kinds of things happening, which is good. I'm actually happy that that is a thing now. But man, back in those days, that didn't exist. You just got, like, you know, harassed and hit and, like, kicked with shit just because you like something. Like, I remember a friend of mine said he liked ICP and he got punched in the stomach by a jock just because he liked ICP, you know. Or I remember there was this rumor that went around. Why is that so loud? Oh my god, that one blaster sound channel is loud. There was like this rumor that this one chick, because she had a mohawk, was a lesbian because she had a mohawk instantly, or that she was on drugs. And like, yeah, I'm a fucking full-blown goth. There's no doubt about it. But it wasn't something you could just do. It wasn't something you could just say. It was actually very, very... You either didn't do it, or you got the shit beat out of you because you know, you rebelled against what other people wanted. And you just weren't understood by people around you. It was a very crazy environment that I grew up in. Hell, I remember, like I was saying about how people getting their, like, stuff searched. You know, I just didn't bring my CD player to school anymore because I didn't want to be ridiculed because I listened to Nirvana. And I didn't want people to think I was on drugs because I listened to Nirvana. Like, it was a totally different, like, tone, like, that many years ago. And this wasn't very long ago. You know, if you said you were gay back then, you just got the hell beat out of you. I'm not gay, but I'm making that as a point. Like, you just got the shit beat out of you. It didn't matter what you liked. If you said you liked Star Wars, they'd say, oh, what are you, a faggot? And then they'd punch you in the stomach. Like, that's... They say go play football, of course. But, you know, that was just how it worked. It was a very different time period. And people say kids are a lot more softer now. I'm like, I don't think so. I think the adults around the kids are a lot more soft, not the actual kids. Kids are fucking vindictive and vicious by nature. This is... Oh, God, man. I don't know. Like, I grew up in an area where kids just beat the shit out of each other because they wore a Seahawks jersey. And that happened to me, too. I wore a Seahawks jersey. It was a Mike Tatpoo, who was, I believe, their new quarterback at the time. I got the shit kicked out of me, that thing taken off, and then they threw it on top of a vending machine, and it was just because I liked the Seahawks. And I said, fine, I won't even fucking like sports anymore then. What's the point? Like, it was so different. Like, when people say kids worry about, like, X, Y, and Z, I get incredibly skeptical. I'm like, I don't think so, Tim. Like, fuck, man, there was a lot of... And this shit, if you went to, like, I think I've told this story once. I'm not sure if I have the video up. But there was a time, and I'm sorry this level's so fucking massive, I can't really do anything about that. And I went the wrong way like an asshole. But, yeah, dude, there was a time when, I was in middle school, and I'm not trying to turn this into pity hour for Seth here, but it's a funny story, I think, now. Where fucking I used to play basketball outside the school with a couple of guys up to no good. And, yeah, man, there was like, oh, what was it? Is it this one? I can't remember. I think it's this one. Yeah, that's where I want to go. So yeah, I was trying to play basketball in like the little area at like middle school recess. You don't call it recess because you're a man now. And you know, I'm trying to play basketball. There's this one kid. His name was Bryce, and he was like older than us. I think he was like a super senior in like middle school probably because he was not the most intelligent guy. But yeah, I wanted to be as cool as him. Let's just run past this. I don't really want to deal with it. It just takes too long. I can't stand fighting these things. So I just was like, I was trying my ass off to be as good as Bryce, as I wanted to be the very best that no one ever was. Are you shitting me? This isn't the right way? Alright, we'll just kill these guys while I'm waiting then. But yeah, I fell. I was like, cool, fuck, let's do it! And I like got way too into it, and I remember I fucked up my nose and my glasses, and I knocked this kid down on accident. And I remember I went to the school nurse, like the only time I ever did this, and she's like, oh, what'd you do? And like, I was like, oh, I was playing basketball and I tried to do this against like Bryce or whatever. And then she's like, well, why'd you do that? Like, just like it was my fault. Well, to be fair, it was my fault. But there was absolutely zero compassion. The fact that I probably fucked up my nose because I had my glasses, like, go back into my, like, eyes almost. But shit, man, it was vicious. Like, you'd, you know, and I'm not one of those people that promotes violence, but when you're getting bullied and you fight back and then they're like, oh, fucking, you're in trouble for fighting back, but the bully gets away scot-free. That happened to me, like, 3 times. Like, I had a kid, oh man, Seth's childhood stories are always the best, right? So, I was in grade school, and it's funny because me and this kid were actually friends after this. I mean, years later in, like, fucking high school, like, we didn't care anymore. Like, dude, that was, like, fucking 30 years ago. But, you know, he threw me off the monkey bar things that we always used to play around on, and he'd make me eat rocks. He'd say, oh, fuck you, you're fat. Well, he wouldn't, actually, I think he might have said those exact words, but, and he'd be like, oh, eat these rocks, because you're a piece of shit, and, like, yeah, that happened, and then, here's where it gets even better, was, I was, like, I finally had enough of this shit. It was, like, 3 times in a row it happened, and I fucking pulled him off without any provocation. And I made him eat rocks. I said, how do you like it? And I, like, made him eat them. And I got in trouble. Because I pulled a kid down and beat the shit out of him, basically. It's the only time in my life I've ever physically snapped on somebody. And I got in trouble for it. So, you know, to me, that just says there's a lot of problems in the system that I, you know, had to deal with as a kid. Because it taught me a really harsh lesson. You either toe the line and just let dumb shit happen, and you accept that there might be no actual conclusion, or you fight the fuck back and you beat the shit out of the person that's being an asshole to you. Now, I'm gonna take a wild swing and say which one actually they promote nowadays, which is take action but also don't beat the shit out of somebody, because that might be bad. But yeah, there was a time when you couldn't bully kids. You weren't allowed to bully back the bully. They always just told us, oh yeah, just, you know, don't talk to them. Just tell them, oh, I want to be your friend. And then they're gonna hit you in the face. That happened to me like 3 times. So, you know, all this bullying shit stopped when I hit high school, actually. Amazingly, it literally just went away because everyone dissipates into, like, you know, their cliques and all that, so it didn't really continue at all. I actually never got bullied in high school, surprisingly. I had a very incredibly smooth high school experience. I actually, like, would say that was, like, some of the most genuinely fun moments of my life. I don't know why everyone... I think it might have been very mediocre and average, but, you know, for me it was just like, oh, cool, like, people aren't beating the shit out of me and calling me a faggot every 2 seconds. That's pretty cool, I guess. So, you know, that was a very liberating feeling, and obviously you get more identity, you become more fleshed out as a person, your personality takes shape, you hang out with the right people, you find your things you're good at in life, what you want to do. So, you know, that's partially why things got slightly better, as in slightly, I mean massively better. But yeah, I mean, even in, like, high school, that's where the whoa from my friend Zach and me would say, because, like, they basically just told us, oh yeah, if you're getting bullied, just don't do anything about it. Just go get help, and if that doesn't work, then just switch schools, because that will solve all your problems. There really was no effective way, and it pissed me off because I was always just like, oh, just punch him in the fucking throat. I mean, I've been the bully at one point in time, actually. Well, not really. I guess you could say the vengeful guy. I grabbed a kid by the shirt because he was trying to grope this one chick. He was a shitty little freshman, and I was a senior, so I didn't care. And so he, like, kept trying to grab her and grope her, and I grabbed him by the shirt and I said, you fucking do that again, and I will beat the shit out of you. Do you understand me, man? Fucking, she says, no, leave her alone, or something. And I was, like, fucking serious, obviously. I wasn't just, like I am now, obviously, so it was, you know, that scared the shit out of him, and that's what he needed. He needed someone to fucking equalize what he was doing, because no one was doing it in a crowd of, like, fucking 30 people. And I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm just gonna be, you know, that guy right now, because this is what needs to happen. There's obviously situations you shouldn't do that. And there was another time this kid, he spat on my shoe and he called me a faggot, and I was a senior. And I don't mean spit, I mean chew. And like, I looked at him, I squared up. I was actually with the girl I used to care about back then. And I think this might just be my macho bullshit attitude around women, probably. I'm just kidding, I don't really get that way. Well, I hope not. But I looked him square in the eye and said, if you do that one more fucking time, I'm gonna paint the wall with your head or something like that. Scared the shit. He turned, like, pale, and he stopped doing it. Because I had to go by that area, like, every day. And, you know, it's always the same kids. It's like the dumb freshmen that think they can walk on water. I get it. Kids are arrogant and stupid. But I was like, alright, fuck it. This kid's gonna learn the hard way what happens if you do it to the wrong person. And, you know, it just had to be done at that point. Because he was doing it, like, every other day. And I got really fucking sick of it. And so, like, it doesn't faze me. I'm actually one of those people that doesn't get fazed because I got, like, bullied so often. Like, I'm just like, oh, really? Cool. Like, I just don't get, like, fazed by it at all. Well, I guess I do, but not to the level of, like, letting it get to me, I guess. Jesus, this Dark Troopers is kicking my ass because I'm talking about being a fat kid. But, let's try with Blue Stance. I want to see how this performs. Because these are actually really tough enemies, so I want to see what it's like with this. But yeah, man, I mean, there was a, like, very, yeah, fuck your shitty hands. Yeah, fucking cry about it. Yeah, how you like it? Yeah, how you like that, man? But dude, it was crazy. Like, I'm a firm believer that if someone's doing stupid shit, they're gonna get called on it eventually, and they're gonna get, like, either the hard way, or they learn before they get to the hard way. And I'm a firm believer of giving a very stern warning. If someone's gonna piss me off, they're gonna regret it instantly. And I don't believe in violence, personally, because, let's just face it, violence begets more violence. I'm kind of a hippie. And I never actually struck another person, other than that situation where I made a kid eat rocks. This was 2nd grade, dude. I had, like, child strength, so it wasn't probably enough to cause any damage. And he still has all of his teeth, so that's good. I haven't talked to him in like 7 years, but whatever. So, anyway, I don't know why that's really funny to me. I'm an awful person, that's probably why. But, yeah, he, like, you know, I don't believe in just beating the hell out of somebody if they're being, like, just slightly annoying. I'm gonna say something or do something that's gonna intimidate them, because that's usually all it takes. People usually do not just go out and fucking strike people across the face for no reason, obviously. That's really dumb, and you shouldn't do that ever. Like, I've been in concerts where that almost happens, like, between some stupid kids, and it's just, all it takes is one guy, whether they mean it or not, just to say something slightly intimidating, and usually most people just back down immediately. We're under attack! But, yeah, I mean, it's like, if someone's doing something that's stupid, I am a firm believer that you can just immediately, if they're gonna act that way, they deserve whatever shit you're gonna do to them at that point, because they've clearly gone into the I'm being a dick territory, and in my opinion, that's fine. Like, I don't promote punching someone, but I don't believe in letting him get away with being stupid and arrogant. Oh yeah, we just asked nicely, right? Yeah, hey man, open the door. Thanks, friendo. Anyways, yeah, it was a crazy experience just growing up the way I did. I'm lucky I'm not dead. That's all I can say. So let's talk to a friendly friend here.
Jan.
Well, you certainly took your sweet time.
So edgy.
Hey, it's okay. I'm happy to see you too.
Kyle's holding her up with his penis.
You were dead.
Just wanting you to know that.
No. In pain? Yes. Dasan and his thugs must have burned out half a dozen interrogation droids trying to get me to crack.
They wanted to know about the Valley of the Jedi, right?
For the first few hours. Then they dropped the subject and started asking me about the layout of the Jedi Academy.
The Jedi Academy?
Jedi Academy?
Yeah, Dasan seemed obsessed with it.
Oh, no.
What?
I think Dasan's invading the Jedi Academy. We've got to destroy the Doomgiver's shields before he can deploy his troops.
I think I know where it is. Let's go.
Of course she knows where it is. She's been interrogated for like 10 minutes, so she obviously knows the entire layout of the ship.
You can't escape.
Ho ho ho, can I? Ah!
Dual switches. We're going to have to work together to get out of here.
The only time in the game you ever have to
Hold
do
the
this.
switch down, Kyle.
But I guess it makes sense. It's a bit odd. I'm not a fan of this section. But it's just to show that they're friends again, and they have each other's backs. Okay, good. I think that's the end of the level as well. No. I think that has to open up. She opens it up for you, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure the shield generators are through there.
I know. You get an escape pod ready and wait for me. This shouldn't take long.
Don't do something stupid like die on me.
Oh, that's such a
Should do the same
2000s
misery
thing.
I've been through. Not on your life.
This game just reeks of early 2000s. It really does.